Las Vegas. Welcome to Rise and Shine.
Come on, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. This is Rise and Shine Las Vegas. I'm Jason Hawe. We got a great show. So get settled in, get your coffee, whatever it takes. Just be ready. We're going to have a really great show today. So first off, just welcome everybody. It's been a heck of a week. A lot of things going on. Starting with the weather, though. Of course, you always got to start with the weather. Pineapple Express. Remember that hitting California and doing all of that damage, all that rain and stuff. Well, we've got our own share of it, so we've been a little cold, a little rainy, a little kind of that kind of thing. Not exactly our best time of year, but it's milder than the Pineapple Express. Not so bad. Maybe the Pina Colada Express for Vegas, something like that anyway. But for that matter, it's getting nicer now already, so we're good on that. It's going to be a little bit warmer, a little bit, it's Vegas, so don't worry about it. So a lot of things have been going on this week. Unfortunately, let's start with this. We lost Apollo Creed. Carl Weathers passed away just a couple of days ago, as well as Toby Keith, country music singer, well known for a lot of his very patriotic songs. And so very unfortunate. Toby Keith was from cancer. Carl Weather was some other complications from an illness that he'd had. So very unfortunate, very sad there. But a lot of outpouring of support for Apollo Creed, of course. And well, you got to remember Happy Gilmore too. So that was one of my favorites at any rate. So very unfortunate, very sad for all the friends and family and all the loved ones that they've left. So just wanted to throw that out there. On more happier notes, we've got a lot more to talk about. Last week, I had Councilwoman Victoria Seaman, one of the current mayoral candidates, on the show. It was a really tremendous opportunity, really an honor to have her. This week, I'm so excited. We are going to have former Congresswoman Shelley Berkley sitting right here beside me. We're going to talk for a while on everything that's going on and all of her hopes and all of her plans for this particular run for mayor this year. So really excited. We're going to get to that in just a moment. But of course, I'd be remiss if we didn't say what the elephant in the room. It's game time. The Super Bowl is finally here. It's going to be this weekend, Super Sunday. Practically it is now our national holiday. So everything's going on. I hope everybody has dealt with all of the logistics that has gone on with this whole thing, this whole month-long process to gear up for that. It's a tremendous honor and opportunity for any city that gets to host it, but of course it comes with some sacrifices. I hope everybody's managed to negotiate and maneuver well enough throughout all of this and get all the benefits, the money that comes in and all of that. But once again, on Sunday, the Kansas City Chiefs take on the San Francisco 49ers in Super Bowl 58. 1,912, so I think it's 58, so there's that many of them, and it's happening, so watch out for the traffic and all of that going on all around Allegiant and Polaris and all of that. Deal with that. The parties are going everywhere, so I'm sure you found something to do there with the tailgating and all the partying and all the pregame stuff, so have some fun with that. Game is coming up Sunday. We'll talk a little bit more about that, probably not until next week. But by then, the dust will be settled. You can email us and let us know if you've got any Taylor Swift sightings. I guess that's been a big deal now. For me, personally, I could care less. But the Swifties out there, they might be taking over like half of the stadium's seats. So at any rate, we'll come back to that later. Good luck for both teams. I'm rooting for the Niners. Chiefs, no. I'm a Colorado sports fan. So Broncos, that's where I'm at. Raider hater. Chiefs, no better. Just gotta live with that. So not so much on the sports here now, getting into it, because we got a really great show coming up here soon. So we're going to talk about that. A couple other things of note in the whole realm of mayor. Recent conversation that current Mayor Carolyn Goodman had with a podcast, and in just not so many words intimated that she'd rather the Oakland A's stay in Oakland. There's already been a lot of upheaval and a lot of issue with moving and potentially moving the team here. The stadium and all of that. The good old Tropicana's got to go down to make way for this knucklehead baseball team. Well, we'll see about that. But for all the things being equal, again, the sports coming to this town, it's been tremendous. Everything has been happening. F1, the Super Bowl, the Raiders, all of that going on. The Knights, of course, I get a little queasy when I talk about the Knights. Again, I'm an Avalanche fan, so that's real contentious there. Sorry about that, but that's where I am. At any rate, enough about sports, enough about weather, enough about everything else. In just a few minutes, we're going to set up here, and I'm going to welcome Congresswoman Shelley Berkley to our set, and we're going to talk about everything going on with the mayoral election this year. So just stick around, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Deacon T with Modern Word Ministries. It's great to be with you today. Just a short little promo for our show. Every Sunday morning we have service, and you can follow us at 10 a.m. Pacific Time on modernwordministries.org. And if you missed us or you want to see some of our older messages, go ahead and check us out on socialmediashows.com every single morning at 9 a.m. It's a great way to kick off your day, get a little bit of the word in you, get something uplifting, get you started off on your way. You know, if you're looking for prayer or you need some help, reach out to us. If you go to our website, again, that's modernwordministries.org, you can interact with me via telephone, via DM, text message, whatever you want. I'll get right back to you. So if you need prayer, you need help, you just need somebody to talk to, Modern Word Ministries is here for you. We are your church in the community. So until you see you next time, be blessed, everybody. Bye-bye.
Hello, everyone. This is Joseph Skoda with Social Media Shows. Well, I thank all of you for your support through these last several years, and it's been a lot of fun. We've given people a voice they never had before. Now, Social Media Shows is always collaborating with our veterans to help them do things and help out the veterans who are struggling today. And we teamed up with GI Connections, connecting veterans with resources. So please consider helping and donating to this great cause because we're always doing things for veterans. So GI Connections, Social Media Shows, and you is what makes the world a better place. Once again, Joseph Skoda, proud United States Air Force veteran.
And welcome back, Las Vegas. This is Rise and Shine. Once again, I'm Jason Hawe. And, well, it's that time now. From Capitol Hill to college campuses and now back on the campaign trail, I'd like to welcome Shelley Berkley to the set.
Jason, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
It is an honor. So, well, this is game time. And not for the Super Bowl.
Right. Although that's very exciting for the city, I have to say. Even though you're not a great fan of the Raiders, it's still a very, very exciting time for our community.
It absolutely is.
When I was growing up here, if you would have told me that not only would we be the sports capital of the world, but that we would be hosting the Super Bowl, I would have told you were out of your mind. And here we are doing exactly that. And how good for the community is it?
That's always interesting because it is tremendous for the community. So was F1, an enormous international event. However, again, I've alluded to all the sacrifices. It's unfortunate. Most of the time, all I hear people do is complain about the roads and the this and that.
Well, F1 had some challenges. There's no doubt about that. They're coming back next year. Hopefully, the county commission will do everything in their power to make sure it's a much smoother event next year because there were a lot of problems and a lot of challenges. It was ultimately financially very good for the community, but the reality is for us locals, it created a number of challenges. But hopefully they could work those out by next year.
It certainly does. Yeah, and I felt, all the complaining is a little bit too much. It is a benefit, it is a boon in so many ways to have both the attention, the exposure, as well as the dollars pouring in for events like this. It's sort of suck it up and enjoy the benefit of it. But there is a balance between what grows Las Vegas and what keeps people comfortable, keeps them happy.
And look, a lot of businesses, and for all intents and purposes, it was financially a boon for the city. But for some individual businesses and small businesses, it effectively shut them down for the week. And if you're a small business person, you really cannot be shut down for a week. So that was a problem. And again, getting around, I drive the same streets that everybody else does. And, there were times I was very short-tempered with that. that because it was a little inconvenient. But here we are, a few weeks later, all is well, and now we're looking forward to the Super Bowl. Amazing.
It really is. Don't get me started on driving down there, though. Oh my gosh.
I'm staying as far away as possible.
It's
First of all, the cost of a ticket is a very dramatic amount of money. So I wouldn't be going anyway. But just the thrill. As I was driving here, I was listening to the radio, and the commentator was talking about 200 million people across the planet, probably more than that, are going to be tuning in to watch the Super Bowl. And what are they going to be seeing? Las Vegas at its best. And hopefully all 200 million are going to want to come to Las Vegas and experience it for themselves. And that's good for us.
That's fantastic. And you say Las Vegas at its best. I hope that is true. I honestly hope everyone in Las Vegas is on their best behavior this week.
I will be.
all the outbursts and episodes, anything. I just hope nothing goes down that, any city is vulnerable to acts of craziness and lunacy, whatever. Just behave. Make a good impression. 200 million people are watching, so.
And I think everybody will be on their best behavior. This is big. This is exciting. I'm going to go place a bet. And although I know that you're not a great fan, but those are my two favorite teams, and they're up against each other. And so I don't know what I'm going to do. Half my family loves the Chiefs. Half my family loves the 49ers. So this is going to be a very, very exciting Super Bowl.
A family divided, like your own little civil war. Brother against brother.
Something like that, but you're right. Or brother against mother.
Yeah. Oh well, you have the trump on everything there. You can override. Yeah. So against mother, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is exciting. So with that in mind, with how all of that is increasing, the floods of people coming in and all the activity and all the attention, let's start with some of what you're going to be running for, some of what's on your platform there, and particularly when it comes to overall the safety and the well-being and the welfare of the people out there, both tourists and locals alike.
Yes.
As far as what is your approach to handling crime and just the overall safety of Las Vegas?
Well, Jason, I believe, and I think there's evidence to back up my belief, that the next 10 years in southern Nevada, particularly the city of Las Vegas, are going to be among the most explosive we have ever experienced. There's going to be incredible dynamic growth. We're going to get the A's, and that's a new stadium, which means more workers and more tourists coming in. In a few years, I'll wager that we're going to get an NBA team, and that may be another stadium. Maybe they'll play at T-Mobile, but perhaps they'll get their own stadium. That's more good construction jobs and more tourists pouring in. And when you have more people coming in, they're going to be demanding good education for their kids and affordable housing and access to affordable health care. And these are obviously issues that I know very, very well. My congressional district completely overlaid the city of Las Vegas, so there isn't any challenges that we have in the city that I'm not very familiar with and have been working on for a number of years now. The issues that people talk to me about when I'm out campaigning, and that I know inherently as a longtime Las Vegas resident, homelessness. We're going to have to deal with this. It's almost out of hand, and if we don't take steps now to do everything we can, it's not good for businesses, and on a humanitarian level, it's not good for these people living on the streets. That's number one. And coincidentally with that, affordable housing. The very first house that my family bought when we first came to Las Vegas, I was by Valley High School. I went to Valley High School. It was one of the old cinder block party homes off of Eastern. Some of them still exist, but it cost $33,000. It was not the Taj Mahal, but what it did for my family is it gave us roots in the community. We owned something. We belonged here, and I suspect, I have no doubt, that families feel the same way now that my family felt many, many years ago. So homelessness, affordable housing, and again, they go hand in hand. Crime is always a major issue on everybody's mind. All of us want to let our kids out the front door, our grandkids out, let them go to a park down the street, and know that our children are going to come back safe and sound. Now, I know crime is down in this community, and I have a very, very strong relationship and long-time relationship with the sheriff. I like his brand of policing. We've worked very well together in the past. When I was in Congress, Kevin McMahill was under sheriff, and there were a number of initiatives that we worked on together. I have no doubt that we will have a wonderful partnership should I be lucky enough and blessed enough to win this election. And then the fourth is economic growth and development. I mean, we are poised to go to the next level. We need better transportation system. I think we need to develop a very strong art district. If you've been over to the Smith Center, and we have our season tickets for the Broadway series, you walk into the Smith Center, you're transformed. Now, we could be doing a lot more of that, and I have every confidence in the world that we'll be able to do that. And then finally, technology. We should be a hub of technology, not only to attract tech businesses to Las Vegas, but to harness technology for the betterment of our community. So there's a lot of things going on. The next 10 years are going to be pivotal, and I feel very comfortable with the issues, and I know that I can work very closely with the city council and, quite frankly, the feds. I know federal government, state, I've been on the state level, the county, and I'm very good friends with the mayors of the other municipalities. So we need to be working cooperatively. There should be a competition.
Absolutely.
We're all in this together.
So it's important that you mentioned that, and a very good overall overlay of what your approach is to this role here. Want to go back specifically to each and every one of those.
Surely.
One of the questions I have about how the role of mayor is different from other cities and other seats is you were in Congress for 7 terms.
Yes.
As a Democrat. Mm-hmm. And I referred earlier in an episode about how partisan politics affects the offices differently from governor. Mm-hmm. That seems to be more directly linked to a party affiliation and in those roles. How would that dictate or at least influence your role as mayor on the local level with your party affiliation and how you view those issues?
Jason, I love that question. My grandparents got off the boat when they came to the United States, escaping the Holocaust, and they became Roosevelt Democrats. And my father was a waiter when I was growing up. Neither one of my parents graduated high school. They had to quit school in order to support their families. And, the brothers and sisters and the widowed mother on both sides. And so, and they were Democrats. So why? My dad was a union guy, the culinary. Here in Las Vegas. So naturally, I registered as a Democrat when I was old enough to vote, and have been in Democratic Party politics. The beauty of mayor is it is nonpartisan, and I am so delighted. I'm tired of the bickering. I'm tired of the fighting. The wonderful thing about being mayor is your job is to get things done for your constituents. Doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat. If somebody calls your office and they need a pothole fixed in front of their home, you fix that pothole. And it doesn't matter what your positions are on anything else, you get the job done. And one of the things I truly love about this is this is not a stepping stone for me. I've been around a long time. I've held a number of offices on many levels of government. This is pure public service. And how remarkable is that you're not thinking about your next office, you're not thinking about what your donor is going to say or donors are going to say. You are working for the people of the city. city of Las Vegas. That is your one and only concern. And I just love that.
That's a relief to hear. There's again, you're not beholden to either any special
At my stage,
or party.
no more.
Precisely.
No more.
I found, looking back, a huge hot button issue for Las Vegas has been the entire issue with the Badlands development.
Oh, yes, and I live in Queensridge, so I have a front row seat to that controversy.
That is a valuable perspective, because from what I have learned about that, it really was a lot of leverage placed by the Queensridge residents to initiate and block all of all of the development and everything that was going on.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
the city council essentially kowtowing to that and basically hanging this developer out to dry.
Well, I love my neighbors. It's a wonderful neighborhood. It truly is. My husband and I have lived there for over 20 years, and what I am seeing now is so unnecessary. It is time to. Right now, the city has lost 4 of the 4 lawsuits.
Oh, the fourth one as well.
Oh, but no,
I knew it was
this
3
would be
of
number
4.
5. But
Okay.
there was a hearing in January waiting for the decision. Once that decision comes out, if it is against the city again, it is more than time to sit down and negotiate, because right now the city owes the developer over $200 million.
Precisely.
And I could think of better ways of spending taxpayers' money and spending $200 million than giving it to a developer because of bad faith. And so it's time to start seriously thinking how we're going to make this work. I don't know whether the developer is even interested in developing anymore. So right now we've got a giant hole that isn't doing any of us any good, and I get to see it every day coming into my complex and going out of my complex. I suspect a number of my neighbors are a little dismayed about that, but I think after losing 4 lawsuits and possibly the 5th, and I have no idea how the courts are going to rule.
Doesn't look good.
I think it's time to start thinking logically. Now, I don't know. I'm assuming that the city has insurance that will pay for at least a part of this, but and probably not all of it. And so we are all on the hook for the rest. Let's get it done and move on. That's the next 10 years, as I mentioned before, are pivotal to the growth and development of the city of Las Vegas. Let us not get stuck in the weeds when we've got much bigger fish to fry. And I am looking forward to that fish fry.
Very good. So, with the gaming industry's influence on so many things, this town is the game.
I was vice president of government and legal affairs at the old Sands Hotel for almost 10 years. I know gaming very well.
So their influence on everything, from including being some of those many residents of Queensridge and some of those high-powered ones. How do you see that affecting the rest of Las Vegas' economic future, the development there? Because it seems to be now almost a battle to try and rein them in with what they want versus what the rest of the city wants.
Well, remember, the Las Vegas Strip is not within the city boundaries. So you have more, I don't want to make it sound like more mom and pop, because we've got some extraordinary hotel casinos within the boundary of the city.
Right.
I know gaming very well. I chaired the gaming caucus when I was in Congress. And of course, having worked in the industry for almost 10 years, I know it well. But I have also been an advocate for decades for diversifying our economy so we are not so dependent on one industry. Look, gaming and tourism is who we are. That's what we're known for internationally. And I've traveled a bit, no matter where I go. If I'm in the back of a cab, in the back seat of a cab in Tel Aviv, and the cab driver says, where are you from? And I say Las Vegas. Oh, they get so excited, and
the shows,
everything. Everyone knows Las Vegas, no matter where you go in the world. That's wonderful for us, but it's also important to bring in good paying jobs in other industries. And in order to do that, Jason, we need to take a good, hard look at our education system to make sure that our education system is one that will attract businesses to Las Vegas that aren't dependent on gaming. And again, when we talked about the tech world, I mean, they need an education system here that will provide them a workforce for future jobs in technology. And we need to be prepared for that. Now, in all honesty, as you probably know, the mayor of Las Vegas doesn't have a direct impact on education. However, it is an issue that I know very well. As you know, I have an elementary school named after me, which I truly love. But in addition to that, I was on the Board of Regents for 8 years. And of course, I was the CEO and Senior Provost of Touro University. So I know a bit about education as well as
Worked to develop
gaming.
that institution quite successfully as well. You grew that quite a bit.
To give you a statistic that I just love to cite, because it is the premier medical school and the largest medical school in the state of Nevada now. The last year I was there, which was last year, we had 4,200 applications for 180 slots in the med school. It is very hard to get in, and we are educating, or Touro University is educating, the next generation of healthcare providers for the state of Nevada. That is a very important mission.
And significantly, too, in my view, is that one of the main factors in that is that it is still, in fact, a private institution.
Yes.
As opposed to public, as in reference to public education. Now, when you compare where our school districts are and public education and the miasma throughout the country of curriculum and programs and all the pushing and pulling and all the politics, what about the private schools, charter schools, Montessori, and those approaches? How would you view balancing that with the current public school system?
Look, the public school, I never went to private school. I was educated at the Clark County School District. I went to John C. Fremont Junior High School. I went to Valley High School. I graduated from Valley High School. So I understand public education, and it has many, many, many challenges. I would hope that now that Superintendent Jara has submitted his resignation, that there is a true nationwide search, and we interview the best and the brightest to take over one of the largest school districts in the United States and make the tough decisions, but know that the most important thing is know who your responsibility is to. It's to the children of Clark County, because they are our future. They're our future workforce, our future leaders, and we will be
future law
depending on
enforcement,
them.
our future educators.
Everything is going to come from that Clark County School District. So I'm a great believer in public education, but I also think there's a role for charter schools, a role for private schools. Touro, for instance, and again, we're talking about postgraduate education. It's 100% tuition funded, to no federal dollars, no state dollars, we managed to do quite well financially also, being able to plow whatever profit we made back into providing the best educational opportunities for all of those future doctors, the future physical therapists, occupational therapists, and physician assistants. And that's what the mission was. And one of the other things I think I bring to the table as mayor is the medical district in Las Vegas. It's in Councilman Knudsen's ward, and he works very closely with UNLV and UMC. And I think I can be a tremendous partner and just provide the value of my experience in higher ed. And so I think that would be a plus as well.
Very good. So going back to the primary and secondary level of education, and Clark County, which may in fact actually be broken up, I believe, and split up there's at least a consideration to divide up Clark County School District because it is so enormous.
I've been very involved in those discussions because one of the organizations I belonged to, and I was on the board, was the Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance, whose mission is to bring companies and good-paying jobs to Southern Nevada. And as you know, I'm a great believer in that. So that was a wonderful organization for me to participate in. But they were very actively involved in this issue. But my position is the following. If you're going to continue to fund the Clark County education system, if it's one district or 10 districts at 49th in the United States, it's not worth breaking it up. Because if you think it's expensive now, imagine if each new district had its own superintendent and their own bureaucracy. Where does the money go down to helping the kids?
That sounds like a nightmare.
It does, doesn't it? Now, let me say this. Should that happen, I am fully prepared, if I'm mayor, to execute that and be able to provide a bit of knowledge and expertise. But the reality is, let us get our priorities straight in this community. And if it is, in fact, education, then let's fund it appropriately. Now, you know, I'm sure that the governor added another governor and legislature came together and added another $2 billion to education, K through 12, throughout the state, which was desperately needed. That's how all of our teachers got their pay raises. But I have a daughter-in-law who has been a teacher in the Clark County School District. She teaches 3- and 4-year-old deaf children at Adelaire Del Guy Elementary School. There's only a few of her in the entire school district, but she was quite candidly working for peanuts until this pay raise, which you want to retain these young teachers, you want to retain older teachers, pay them. And I guarantee that, now I know throwing money at a problem is not always the solution, but I think it's important to provide the people that are educating our children with a decent salary.
Pay them.
Pay them.
You can oversee and influence and affect how the money is distributed otherwise, but pay them.
We did just that this year, and I'm very, very happy about that.
Very good. So we're going to take a short break here.
Okay.
And speaking about education and everybody's welfare, and we'll come back to the homelessness situation because that encompasses so many of the significant issues here in Vegas.
You are 100%
all in one.
right. Yes,
it's
indeed.
the end result of so many things going wrong.
Yes.
So we're going to come back here in just a moment, and we're going to talk about that with Shelley Berkley, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Traditional TV is going away. Hollywood is starting to fade. People are demanding real stories from real people. Our voices are now being heard in our own way. Podcasts, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok Live are becoming the norm. Internet TV has now reached the highest demand in human history. Social media shows is now the new media of the century.
Welcome to social media shows. Have you been watching social media shows recently? Of course you have. We have been live streaming for 4 years across social media platforms. We produce over 70 shows with over 1,000 episodes. In the process, we've helped over 100 creators realize their dreams and start their own show. We give platforms to promote your business. If you are an artist, if you have an event, if you are entrepreneurs, or if you have a story. If you haven't done it yet, go ahead and subscribe and follow us on major social media platforms. And if you have a great idea of a show, join us. Social media shows can help you produce and live stream your own show. Let us help you make your dream become a reality.
And welcome back, Rise and Shine Las Vegas. Again, I'm Jason Hawe, and this is our final segment with a very special guest, former Congresswoman and current mayoral candidate, Shelley Berkley. So we've been talking about so many great things so far.
Yes.
Your views, your positions are very ambitious and solidly backed, which I really like. We're going to get to one of the more difficult subjects, and that is of homelessness. The tunnels are currently being swept right now from all of the residents that are there for security reasons for the Super Bowl and that going on right now. They're clearing all that up. A lot of the outreach groups are moving in and assisting and trying to help them find alternatives. So the homeless issue is enormous because it encompasses all the factors that goes into it. And it does. It continues to grow. It's a complicated issue, but in some ways it's only complicated because of our overextended compassion. Now, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, but to give you a little background personally, I am a recovered alcoholic, 7 years sober. The first 2 years of my recovery, I spent in a homeless shelter in Texas.
Wow.
I was there. You would think, being homeless myself in years past, that I might have more sympathy for what's there. Absolutely not. I understand what goes into it. I understand what gets out of it. When I was there, very quickly, I realized we're all here because we were wrong about some shit. Something in our life, how we approach things, how we process things, how we dealt with things, whatever it was, whatever choices we made, we were all there because we were wrong about something. And fix that and get yourself through. Now, addiction is a whole issue. Mental health is going to be one of the most significant issues here because that influences crime as well as homelessness, as well as everything else. So what is your approach specifically to the homeless issue and where mental health falls in that?
Actually, I think we need more than 12 minutes in a segment. But first of all, congratulations on being sober for 7 years. Not easy to get clean, and I know that. I'm going to give you a little vignette. About 15 years ago, I was serving in Congress, and a group of elementary school principals came to D.C. and told me that a lot of the kids in their schools don't have any books at home. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is, because we never had any money in our family. My dad was a waiter, but books we always had, and that's why I have a lifelong love of reading. It just so happened that I had a girlfriend that had a foundation that did toys, books, and clothes for children. And so I called her. She sent 150,000 books to the Clark County School District. I took a couple of boxes so I can give them out at Whitney Elementary School, which is behind Samstown. Not necessarily the best area in town. I gave out the books, the cameras left, the media left, the principal gave me a tour. Elementary schools generally look pretty much alike. We went outside to the playground. There were 2 trailers, one filled with food, one filled with clothes. I said to the principal, isn't this a little unusual? And she said, well, I have a large homeless population. We're talking elementary school here. My next question was, well, how large is your homeless population of children that you have these, this food and these clothes? She said 70%. 70% of the children that were going to Whitney Elementary School were homeless, either living in cars, couch surfing with their families. How outrageous is that? And I felt all of a sudden the magnitude of the problem really hit home. I'm worried that they don't have a book in their house. They don't have a house. And so I became very, very sensitized to this issue. My girlfriend runs the rescue mission. I said to her recently, Heather, I said, if I had a magic wand, what could I do to help you? She said, the city of Las Vegas has to build a mental health facility. That's number one. Then I've had a long-standing relationship with Catholic Charities. My family goes to Catholic Charity and feeds the homeless for major holidays. Before we enjoy our blessings, we want to help others.
Catholic Charities
Catholic
helped me out a time or two back in those days. Yeah.
And my students at Toro, when I was there, we used to go and do basic health care services for the people that were at Catholic Charities. So I know Deacon Tom very well, and we interact. I went and I visited the courtyard to see what was going on over there, and Vegas Stronger. And there's a number of others. And then I just met with a group of people, well-meaning citizens, that out of their own pocket set up like food pantries in the street to feed the homeless. It is a large problem. There's mental health issues, there's addiction issues, there's underemployment issues where no job training, and of course, ultimately, no housing issues. So this is a multifaceted challenge. You talk to business people downtown, they are fed up. I mean, their life's savings are invested in their businesses, and if customers can't get into your business because homeless people are lining the streets or in front of the entrance of their business, they want them removed. But this is, and I get that, because my husband and I have been small business people at times in our lives, so I know the challenges. I've met with, as you probably know, Jason, the Nevada State Legislature appropriated $100 million to deal with this issue, with the understanding that the resort corridor would match the $100 million. So I met with, the Wind seems to be leading this charge.
Okay.
So I met with them recently, and they are looking for a holistic approach. I mean, they're going to have $200 million at their disposal, a campus that will provide, not only housing, counseling, mental health, and make sure, oh, excuse me, Jason.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you. Oh, I'll take that.
Of course.
Thank you.
It's live television, folks.
That's okay. These things happen.
She's on a roll. You want to keep
Absolutely.
it going.
So they're looking for many acres that they can build this campus. I think that's a very, very good start. Each of these, the Rescue Mission, Catholic Charities, the Courtyard, Vegas Stronger, they all have a role to play. But right now, they're not solving the problem, and we need to solve this problem, get people off the streets. Also, there's a couple of other challenges right now that may be different from when you were in the homeless shelter. One of them, and I noticed this at Thanksgiving, when we were feeding the homeless at Catholic Charities, families, more families than I had ever seen before, and my family has been doing this for 30 years. It was striking, the number of families, and that's something we need to deal with, because that's a next generation of little ones that are growing up homeless. That's unacceptable. Also, like the rest of us, it's an aging population. So not only the homeless are getting older, and consequently, not only are they dealing with homeless issues, but with the challenges of aging. More homeless people have diabetes. More homeless people have heart issues and things like that need to be addressed as well. So this is a multifaceted challenge. We must do everything we can to get these people off the streets, get them off of the drugs, get them the mental health counseling that they need. And it's not going to work for everybody. There are always going to be people that are out there. But right now, before this problem gets any worse, we need to take care of it. And I am definitely committed to do that. And it also works, as we said before, a hand in glove with affordable housing. There are not a large percentage, but certainly a percentage of people that are working and are homeless.
Right.
Because they can't afford. Who could afford the median cost of a house now? Remember the $33,000 that my parents paid? It is $450,000. Now you have to have a heck of an income to be able to afford a down payment on a $450,000 house.
Right. For all intents and purposes, I was very nearly homeless again all these years later. here in Vegas, because to work a regular job, not minimum wage, but just an average job, there was no way I could afford to move anywhere without a roommate or two
Oh,
or three.
absolutely.
So you can barely make it. So the economic factors are driving and accelerating the homeless issue significantly faster.
Agreed.
Now.
Agreed.
And that's again why all those families now are succumbing to that, because financially it's not working.
And look, and this is not necessarily a lower income problem. I have a friend of mine, of course we'll go nameless, is a professional person. I mean, he's a dentist in town. His son is homeless. Why? Because he has some mental health issues.
Right.
And I speak to the dad, not often, but we certainly on an ongoing basis. And he shares with me the challenges, and what services can we provide his son to get him off the streets. And it's a heartbreak for that family. There's no doubt about it. So this is not only, low income, down on your luck people. This is a societal issue. One other nuance to this: about 20% of our homeless population are veterans. That tells me that we are not doing a particularly good job of when people transition from their service to our country to being back to civilian life. We're not doing a very good job helping them do that. And so for me, homelessness is a federal issue, a state issue, a county issue, and a municipal issue, as well as a personal issue and personal responsibility, and having to want to get clean and get off the streets. And that's an important component as well. But I think one of the things I bring to the table is that first of all, I don't think there's anybody in the state or in the federal government that I can't call and won't take my call, and that'll be helpful. But we're all in this together. If you're homeless, do you know if you cross the street on Las Vegas Boulevard on Sahara that you're no longer in the city? No. You're crossing the street, and you don't know that, oh, well, now I'm no longer in the city of Las Vegas, so now I have to access county programs. Okay. And so I think we all need to recognize that this is a collective challenge and work together to solve it. And I'm thrilled that the legislature and the resort corridor are in this, because they recognize the challenge as well.
That's tremendous. Again, we could spend a whole nother hour on this subject alone, but it's time to wrap things up. Unfortunately, because there are just so many other things that we could talk about.
You'll have to invite me back.
And
how's that?
You beat me to it, because I would love to invite you back again.
It would be my pleasure. Thank you. A great interview. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And it's been a real honor, a real pleasure. And I want to thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
And we will revisit you again here soon. Good luck on the campaign.
Thank
this
you.
year is in full swing now.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, one of the great things about being mayor is you've got the bully pulpit. And so there may be issues that are not directly part of the mayor's responsibility, but how good to have a bully pulpit to talk about education, to talk about healthcare, and actually be part of the solution.
Shine the light and lead the way.
Honest to goodness, that's what I plan to do.
Fantastic. Well, again, it's been a real pleasure, and I do hope to see you
Thanks.
back again here soon. Good luck on that. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and hope you enjoyed. If you have more questions, if you want anything that we'd like to address here, feel free to contact Social Media Shows Network, and maybe we'll get her back and be able to talk about all sorts of other great things too. But for now, I'm Jason Hawe. This is Rise and Shine Las Vegas on the Social Media Shows Network. You can reach me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Still not made anything up yet. I'm still working on that. I promise I'm going to come up with something. But I will be here again soon, and so thank you again. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Jason.
And again, it's been a real honor. Take care.
Come on, everybody. Get on your feet. Listen to the sound.